Welcome to Wake Up West Palm, where we talk all things downtown West Palm Beach, and you get to meet some of the incredible people and businesses in our beautiful community. Today, I am joined by Laura Klintberg, who is the owner of Johans Joe. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, of course.
I love this space.
Thank you.
It is beautiful. Tell us about Johans Joe.
So Johans Joe first opened in 2015 by a Swedish couple who had retired to West Palm Beach and had to bring a little bit of Sweden here with them. They had owned a cafe in Sweden first, but this was their first venture in the United States. We started off as very European-style grab-and-go cafe and have evolved into the restaurant that we are today. And I took over in 2017.
I love that. That's so cool. Now, you have an interesting background. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you became the owner of this beautiful place.
Okay, so I actually have a degree in musical theater. I studied music. I had no intention of ever owning a restaurant before until it happened. And I worked professionally in the DC area for several years after college as an actor. And then I moved to Florida about 17 years ago when I worked for Disney Cruise Line for 5 years on their cruise ships.
You go from music and performing to owning a coffee shop, which is so wild.
Yes.
So what do you love about being in West Palm, owning this coffee shop?
So when I first started at Johans Joe, I was just a part-time barista. And shortly after we opened, I became a trainer and then a manager, and then worked my way up to eventually becoming a partner. So what was so interesting about this experience for me is it just happened naturally. So yeah.
Do you miss performing?
Sometimes, but being a mom and a business owner, this is kind of a new dream that has evolved for me. So I think I'll probably go back to singing maybe someday when the kids are older and moved out.
You never know. I love hearing people's journeys because you just never know what's going to happen. You never know what life may bring.
Right.
What attracted the owners to West Palm Beach in the first place?
Sweden gets very cold in the winter, so I think they were just looking for a place that was warm, had a welcoming, inviting community. They had just vacationed here several times and just fell in love and sold their restaurant and wanted to retire here, and then realized retiring isn't so easy for some people. So.
And what do you like about having your business in downtown West Palm Beach?
The community in downtown West Palm Beach is very special. So when I first moved to West Palm Beach, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be in a condo downtown in a city. And then I moved here and I realized it actually doesn't feel so much like a city, especially when you're getting involved. It has this small town feel. Especially once I started working at Johans Joe, you get to know so many regulars and customers who live in all of the surrounding condos around us, and then you just start to feel like you know everyone. So it's like you think, okay, I'm moving to this busy city, and then you realize it just feels so much more quaint than that. It's special.
How do you want people to feel when they come in? Because the way that you're describing downtown is kind of how I feel like people feel when they come in here. So yeah. How did you kind of create this space and aesthetic so that people would have that feeling?
Well, first I want people to come in and feel like they're part of our family. And I think that's what makes us really unique. We know a lot of our regulars who come in every single day, sometimes more than once a day, and we know them very well. So I want them to feel like they're family first, but I also want them to come in and feel that they can stay and they can relax, so they could come for breakfast and read the newspaper, but then stay for lunch and schedule a business meeting. And it just gives you this elegant yet relaxing vibe here. When I used to think of coffee shops, I would think of more of like darker spaces with lots of dark paneled wood around and almost like a little sleepy feeling. But this is so bright and open, and I want people to feel the energy when they come in here as well. So it's just a different take.
Which they do. That's so interesting that you use the word elegant, because the first time that I came in here and I saw the purple chairs and just the oversized, and it really is that it's a vibe. It's a very interesting, cool, fun feel.
Yes.
Which is very inviting.
And I think when the original design with our original owners, they wanted this old style, Scandinavian old style feeling to it as well. So that's where we have these sheer curtains and all the chandeliers.
I know the chandeliers are gorgeous. I love them. So talk about your logo. What is the animal in the logo and how is that significant?
So we have the deer head for our logo. The Swedish national animal is an elk. And it really symbolizes that Sweden is a northern country. There's lots of elk and moose and deer in the area. So it was just wanted to bring a little bit of that to sunny West Palm Beach, that, we're coming from a northern cold country where they drink lots of coffee.
I love that you keep the traditional vibe from Sweden and you keep that alive here. When you took over, I can imagine, obviously being a business owner, it can be challenging, growing, what that looks like.
Yeah.
Also, in the coffee industry, I assume you have to learn a lot about coffee and the best coffees. So, in your opinion, what makes for a really remarkable coffee?
I would say consistency, how the bean is ground, the temperature of the water, how much coffee you're using, how the water is filtered. I think it all plays into consistency and training.
What's your favorite drink?
Just a black coffee.
Are you serious?
Nice, yes, but not when I first started. I had all the flavored lattes, all the sugars, regular milk, and now I just prefer a black coffee. I just came to enjoy the taste of it. So I would slowly cut back on my sugars or my syrups, and now I just want a black coffee. Occasionally a cappuccino with oat milk, but usually I just have a nice, strong black coffee.
Black coffee.
And we have really nice coffee, which makes it's one of the things that makes Johans Joe unique. So we import all of our coffee from Sweden. It comes from the oldest family-owned roastery. They're on their 4th generation of roasters, and they source the beans from all around the equator so they can find all fair trade, organic, Rainforest Alliance certified coffee beans, and then they make their blends and roast them in Sweden. So I think that definitely sets us apart from other coffee shops because we're importing our beans from a country who argues that they drink the most coffee per capita than any other country in the world, especially in the winter when it gets very dark. So you have to stay awake.
Well, it is a very good cup of coffee, that is for sure. Why do you feel like it's hard to replicate a really good cup of coffee from a coffee shop at home?
Well, I just think it's just, again, like going back to the consistency. We have 3 different types of water filters before the water gets through our machines. So I think that definitely plays a lot into the flavor and the taste of the coffee.
There's something just like so special. And maybe it's also just the being here and experiencing.
Sometimes it's nice just to not make it.
That's true. That's true too. So you do a lot of really wonderful events here. Can you talk about some of the events that you host?
So we rent out our space in the evenings. We've done events. We've done birthday parties, bridal showers. We've done a couple small weddings in here also. Corporate parties, just networking and mingling events. And then we also do annual Christmas parties as well. So we do a Christmas Yule board. Yule board means Christmas table in Swedish. So it's a really unique Swedish experience that we brought here last year that we're going to have to plan many more this year because they all sold out. But a smorgasbord is, it's a term that originated in Sweden. And it's when you put all of your items out on a table like a big buffet spread at one time. So we have a cold table and a warm table. It has all the traditional Swedish Christmas foods, which was so fun to introduce to the locals here. The cold table has different types of smoked salmon and Christmas ham, different types of fresh made bread, Swedish cheeses. On the warm table, we have Swedish meatballs and prinskorv, which is a Swedish sausage. Ribs, we have Jansen, which is a creamy potato dish with anchovies in it. So it's just fun to introduce, and it's so yummy. It's just fun to introduce these new dishes and give that full experience to our customers here. They came in and we gave them warm mulled wine like you would have in Sweden when you're coming in from a cold day. We had Santa and Mrs. Claus here. Santa's called Tomten in Swedish. And it was a family affair for us as well. So our youngest two were dressed up as a gingerbread man and an elf in traditional Swedish costumes. Our teenager was a server that night. So that is probably the most special event for me that we've had here, because our whole family was involved and we got to really share a traditional Swedish experience to West Palm.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Well, now that we're talking about all the delicious food that you can get here, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes. So Linda, our chef, our main chef, came here about a year ago from Sweden. And we reached the point in our growth. We've really evolved a lot over the 9 years that we've been open. And we realized, and something I've learned as a business owner, is you don't have to be an expert in everything. And you also can't do everything by yourself. My background's in music, which we talked about. I'm not a chef and I don't have a culinary degree. My heart and my palate know what I want here. But we reached a point where, especially for our growth, I really wanted to have someone Swedish who had the culinary experience and background that we're looking for here. So 1 year ago, Linda came and she's really helped us evolve with our pastries and bringing so many more different types of authentic Swedish foods into Johans Joe. So
I love Linda. It. Beautiful. Linda, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm from Stockholm, a little bit outside Stockholm actually. I grew up in Stockholm's archipelago. So I had very nice summers and ice cold winters. And I moved here about a year ago. And I've been working at 5-star restaurants, 5-star hotels, fine dinings, and I have my own coffee shop as well.
So you have obviously a lot of experience
I
in
do.
catering and with your cafe. How do you take all of the experience that you've learned and then get to partner with Laura and create really special items on the menu?
Well, I would say first, one of the fun things is with our relationship is we met, I don't know how many years ago, 5?
I think it's
Maybe
7.
more, 7 years ago.
7 years
so
ago.
Linda also knew the original owners and was here for 3 months at one point and did an internship here with us. So when I was learning how to take over as manager and hopefully owner, Linda had come here and spent 3 months. So we kind of also have that connection and kept in touch, which really helps us now with our connection and growing the business together. So sorry, I answered for you.
What was the question again?
Well, let's talk a little bit about your collaboration. So how do you collaborate on what you're going to put on the menu? Obviously, you spoke fairly eloquently and passionately about this annual event that you do and wanting to keep that Swedish tradition. So how do you guys collaborate to make sure you have that Swedish tradition while at the same time not taking into consideration the local tastes and what the locals would like?
So I choose to take the most popular pastries and cakes and make them to something that we can produce ourselves in-house. So since I got here, we do all of the pastries in-house.
When it comes to the food, I know Linda knows what is most popular right now in Sweden. And you know, even for me and for my husband, when we're there and we're visiting, we're not there all the time to see how dishes change, but we know old school Swedish food more. So I would say there's a lot of times Linda has an idea and she just presents it and then we'll be like, wow, this is awesome. Let's try it. Let's sample it out to our customers and see how it goes. So I would say definitely Linda's brought so many different unique ideas and that we haven't tried yet or thought, oh, we're not sure that would work here. And so we're like, let's try it. And so far, so good.
Is there a particular item that is very Swedish, it's very well known, and it's something that you have on the menu that anyone who comes in just absolutely needs to try.
Definitely. Definitely the cardamom bun. We are the only ones that have it. And also the top sellers are Budapest roll and princess torts, and those are very popular, and you definitely have to try them.
And Swedish meatballs, of course. The Swedish meatballs as well.
Yes,
You need
Swedish
those.
meatballs
Yes.
and pancakes, but
Yes.
yeah.
So is there anything that you love to bake, like your favorite thing to bake?
That is like the most common question I get.
And you love getting it, like you see it on your face.
Of course. Well, I like doing things that I have some sort of memory to, or like if I learned how to do this with a special person in my life, and also like I want to pass it on to someone else, and now here to all West Palmers. So it could be like everything from princess torts or buns or cakes. It's just like the story behind it that I maybe are more favorites. If I like something, it's more like by memory and not like the item by itself.
I think it's very common too in Sweden. Like everyone bakes. Everyone bakes at home, especially buns and cakes.
Right.
So I think that's when you have that passion and those memories of, baking things at home, it definitely makes it more special.
So what are some of the, I mean, you're new to West Palm Beach, fairly new, and when you came here, what were some of the cultural and culinary differences that you noticed right away?
I would say everything. It was very hard at first to like even source the right products for the buns and the cakes, because it's so how you processing food is very different from Sweden. So you have to find the right vendors to work with in order to actually get the results you want. And also the humidity here is not a baker's best friend.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like, when if you're not a baker, I'm not a baker.
I thought I would have like a super easy, calm process of making all the pastries, because I know how to make them, and I have been doing that for such a long time. And I was here in the kitchen and just like do what I always been doing, and it didn't work. So it took a while for all of us to like get hold on what went wrong and what works.
And some people don't realize, because we've been talking a lot about the pastries and the coffee, obviously, but you have lots of food items on the menu, breakfast and lunches, and it's delicious food. So talk a little bit about the other items on the menu.
I would say we have two very authentic Swedish dishes, and that is the Swedish meatballs and the pancakes. Otherwise, we have a lot of sandwiches, and we have salads, or even more common breakfast plates. That per se is very Americanized, but we still have like the smoked salmon, or just like a small taste of Swedish cuisine with like lingonberries, or we like to use different cheese or different meats, and to combine that to do something that American likes is something we really done here.
There's something for everyone. There is definitely something for everyone,
definitely.
which is beautiful. So I had a dream of owning a coffee shop one day. I worked at a coffee shop when I was in college. I worked at this cute, adorable little coffee shop, and I loved it. And I was like, this is going to be my career. Obviously, then I learned how hard it is to run a business and a coffee shop, for sure. So and the thing that I love so much about this space and local coffee shops in general is like there's such this energy to it when you come in and you get to sit, and whether you are maybe having coffee or lunch with a friend or somebody, and then someone's in the corner and they're working on, on their computer, and I'm always wondering, like, are you doing homework? Are you writing a screenplay? Are you, what is everybody doing? Is that person on a date? Like, there's just such great energy and people watching. Obviously you've been doing this for quite some time. So how have you seen the business change, and what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a business owner?
The biggest challenges was everything, because I didn't know anything when we started. So I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought it wasn't going to be so hard. But I didn't know anything. I didn't know about ordering, how to hire and find the right staff, how to read my financials, how to schedule, and still at the end of the day make a profit. So there were so many things that we had to learn, and mistakes that we made that helped us grow. But I would say the biggest challenge is just being patient and not giving up, and knowing that I'm going to make a mistake and then I will learn from it and we'll fix it. But the first few years we took over were really hard, especially with staffing. It's very hard. You hear a lot of restaurant owners say, like, I can't find good staff. Somehow in the past few years, we have just nailed it with our staff. Like, we have the best staff in all of West Palm Beach. And I would actually challenge anyone who says their staff is better than mine, because I think that they're so fabulous. But they connect so well with everyone. They know everyone's name. They know what's going on in their lives. They know exactly what they want when they see them before they've even walked in the door. And it's so special. They're caring and they're friendly. And we get this all the time in customer reviews as well, how amazing the staff is and how friendly everyone is. So I think that was one thing that started as one of the biggest challenges, and not knowing how to find and train the right people. And then once we got going on it, we just have had such fantastic staff for so long, which I'm so grateful for. And that's when people come in here and I want them to feel like they're a part of our family. They do, because they are. We've come to know everyone so well, and that's really nice. So something that was one of the biggest challenges is now one of my favorite parts of owning a business, and it's our staff.
I love that. It's such a testament to your leadership and being able to build this kind of culture, because you have to be intentional about creating this kind of culture where people enjoy coming to work. If your team enjoys coming to work, then the people that come in are going to feel that, and you can't hide that.
Yes.
So that's amazing. I love hearing that. Linda, what are you most excited about when you think about the next few years and collaborating and working on new menu items and just kind of expanding and collaborating with Laura? What are you excited about?
I am excited about being a part of this awesome community and work with amazing people and be able to build a career that I want. And I think I got here in right time, because West Palm Beach is growing so much right now, and being a part in the growth is amazing.
Awesome. Well, you guys obviously make a wonderful team, and we are so grateful that we were able to have you on the show. So thank you so much for having us in your beautiful space.
You're welcome.
So appreciate
Our pleasure.
it. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you all so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.